Yeah, it's live now.
We teach that black Hispanic community the true Hebrew Israelites in the Bible. We teach the fast, the feast of purim. We started part one last night. Got to do it. We're going to start from verse 4 to 9. You get yourself ready. Find your bar. 4 and 9. Verse 4 and 1.
I've not got my.
Any questions in class, just raise your hand. Just to recap what we went through yesterday in part one. We got up to where Esther showed her the king that Azorius that she showed the king that she was throwing a party.
So where we got to was where Mordecai showed his that he was Jew. Haman hated him.
Okay, yeah, we got Haman had been introduced, and so Haman was plotting and scheming, and we're gonna pick it up from there. In Esther 4 and 1. If you got any questions in class, just raise your hand. Okay? Esther 4 and 1.
Khan, Esther chapter 4, verse 1. When Mordecai perceived all that was done, Mordecai rent his clothes and put sackcloth with ashes.
Okay, sackcloth is your rags. Okay, all your blacks. This is how we dress in the UPK. We come into a 90 days, we start off in all our blacks. That's the sackcloth.
That's right.
In the world, you call it your dog walking clothes, your rough wear and tear, your work clothes maybe. It's not your drip, what you call as your drip. Read.
Khan. And went out in the midst of the city and cried with a loud and a bitter cry.
Okay, so Mordecai's mourning because there's been a decree. There's been a decree made against our people, so-called blacks, Hispanics, the Native Indians, the Jews. Haman, the Edomite, okay, the Amalek from the tribe of one of the Amalek tribes. He has a perpetual hatred for our people, the Jews, and he has decided he's going to scheme and plot and plan against us and genocide us and get us wiped out. He wants to see the destruction of all the Jews. He's playing the king, he's playing Azorius, and that's where we got up to. So read verse 2, Bible for sure.
Khan, and came even before the king's gate, for none might enter into the king's gate cloth.
So Mordecai is in his sackcloth, he's in his rags, and he comes to the king's court. He cannot enter. There's a certain apparel you must wear before the king, and without invitation, you're not getting in. This is punishable by death. This is a Persian colonizer, Azorius, and he's colonized many lands. Read.
Khan, and in every province whithersoever the king's commandment and his decree came, there was a great mourning among the Jews and fasting.
Okay, so we're all mourning. It's not just Mordecai, but Mordecai's in public. Read.
And fasting and weeping and wailing, and many lay in sackcloth and ashes.
Okay, so when we're in sackcloth and ashes, we've got dung on our head, with our ripped clothes, we've been all black, we'd be looking rough.
Khan. So Esther's maids and her chamberlains came and told it her. Then was the queen exceedingly grieved, and she sent raiment to clothe Mordecai, and to take away his sackcloth from him.
Okay, so this is Mordecai's this is Esther's stepfather, Mordecai. He raised her. It's his cousin. The uncle of Esther was his uncle was Esther's father. So this is Mordecai's cousin, but he's an elder for that he raised up as his father. Read on.
Khan. But he received it not. Then called Esther from her touch.
Okay, so when Esther hears the grievance of her stepfather Mordecai, she's grieved. She's aggrieved. She's hearing he's in sackcloth, he's in a bad way. Imagine in today's world, you've seen the homeless, you've seen how they sleep, the shop window with their sleeping bag and their Staffordshire Bull Terrier and their hat begging a pound. He was more or less looking like this. He was rocking from the window.
Khan, one of the king's chamberlains who he had appointed to attend upon her and gave her a commandment to Mordecai.
Okay, what's a chamberlain? We learned this yesterday in part one. A chamberlain is one of the king's workers, one of his close court workers, maybe a servant, one of the officers of court.
Khan, to know what it was and why it was.
To know what it was and why it was. So Esther called for her tap, one of the chamberlains in the palace.
Yeah,
and he had been appointed by the king to work specifically with Esther, for Esther. Okay? And Esther gave him a commandment to go and check on Mordecai and find out what was. Read on, verse 6.
Khan, verse 6. So Hathach went forth to Mordecai unto the street of the city, which was before the king's gate.
Okay, so he goes and looks for Mordecai. Read.
And Mordecai told him of all that had happened unto him, and of the sum of the money that Haman had promised to pay the king's treasuries for the Jews to destroy them.
And this is a wicked ass man. This is a wicked ass Edomite, Amalek. Okay, he's paid money out of the king's treasury. So he's using the king's money, the king's riches, to get rid of us. And this is nothing new. We've been hated by these people throughout the ages. In fact, pull Ezekiel 35 real quick. If you can, Bob, for sure. This is nothing new that Amalek has hated us. They've stolen our identity. They live in our land. One thing with Amalek, they'll never be able to read our language, the Lashawan Kodash. The Most High God's put a block on that. So they speak a language called Yiddish, which is half Hebrew, half German. There's things that Amalek will never be able to do that we do. There's things that Amalek will find impossible. Why? They haven't got the spirit of the Most High God. They're never going to have God on their side. And when you read our records and see throughout the ages, many of these wars that we won in our records was because we had the Most High God with us, back in us. You got
1 second, stand by.
Back up.
We back up.
Go on.
Okay, Salakia for that.
Has he got a mic?
Okay, clap it up. Yeah, Salakia for that. We had a slight technical. We're back up and running now. So if you want to pick it up, where we left off, what was it?
Verse 6.
4 and give me a sec.
5 and end of 7. End of 7, yeah. Can't. End of
Okay,
7.
Mordecai. Yeah, start at the top of 7.
Khan of the one Khan. And Mordecai told him of all that had happened unto him. And
Okay, so Mordecai's having a conversation with Hatak. This is the chamberlain that's been appointed to Esther by the king Azorus. Read.
Khan one Khan, and of the sum of money that Haman had promised to pay the king's treasuries for the Jews to destroy them.
Okay, and this is the scheming Edomite, Amalek, Haman. Okay, so, and like we were saying before, this is nothing new. Amalek has always hated us. They've stole our land. Look what they've done to us today. They've stole our land, stole our inheritance. And this, like we were saying, they cannot speak our language. They speak a language called Yiddish. Let's just demonstrate where. 1 second, sis. Give me Ezekiel 35 and 5. Let's see how much Amalek really hates us as a people. What was you going to say, sis?
I was just going to say so the Jewish people, they know that they're not the real Jew. If they know it, but they act like they don't.
On the lower tier, they won't know. They're simpletons. But the hierarchy of the Jews, the Zionists, they certainly know. They've got all the records.
Okay, but then because they don't understand the ancient Hebrew, that they see something wrong with that they can't be.
No, because they probably think they've been taught from a young age. They've been taught from a Salakia, sir. Yeah, never mind. Yeah. They've been taught from a young age that they've been taught from a young age that Yiddish is the ancient. So you'll see us debating them in the streets at street camp, and they're coming up to us and in denial, complete denial. They don't believe that the ancient Hebrew that we speak and learn in the schools is the right ancient Hebrew. They believe they've got the real Hebrew already, which is Yiddish. But what Hebrew, the Israelites 3,000 years ago could not speak German. There was no such language as German. So it makes no sense. Read on, Baruch Shah. Ezekiel 35 and 5. In fact, start from 1.
Khan, Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 1. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir.
Do what?
Set thy face against Mount Seir.
Right, where's Mount Seir? Mount Seir is the land of Amalek, of the Edomites. Read.
Khan, and say unto it, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee.
How are these Edomites going to be able to speak ancient Hebrew if God is against them? Read.
Khan, and I will make thee most desolate.
Lashon Kodash is the holy, God's holy tongue, the ancient Hebrew. If God's against the people, do you think he'd give them the Lashon Kodash? Laha, certainly not. Read that again, Babu Kashar.
Khan, I am thus saith the Lord, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate.
Okay, so the Most High God says he's going to make these Edomites desolate. That sounds like destruction to me. He's getting ready. He's preparing for war against these people. Read.
That's right. Khan, I will lay thy cities waste.
He'll do what?
I will lay thy cities waste.
Okay, Ukraine, Kiev, Russia, Moscow. This is just the beginning, but it's the beginning of the end. Read.
and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and a perpetual hatred.
And there you go. He's had a perpetual, the Edomites, Amalek, has had a perpetual hatred for what?
Khan, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel.
Of the children of who?
Of the children of Israel.
The 12 tribes of Israel as black, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and native Indians. This is nothing new in the story of Esther. The story of Haman and his perpetual hatred of the Jews, wanting to genocide us, wanting to wipe us out completely and utterly destroy us, just unalive every last Jew in every province of the King Ahasuerus. This is nothing new, and it's still happening today, to this day. Police brutality. Tell Mark Duggan's family that Amalek and the Edomites don't have a perpetual hatred for us. And that's why we say every week, week in, week out, on the street, in class, we have these records for a reason. We must study them and know them. We must know them like we know the back of our hands, because this is the only thing that's going to set us free. This is the only thing that's going to save us. The Spirit of the Most High God is in His Word. Read on.
By the force of the sword in the time of their calamity.
Khan, Abanyuga, drop that. Let's go back to Esther.
Khan.
That was just to demonstrate the perpetual hatred, and if you can understand the spirit of Esau, if you can understand the spirit of Amalek, you'll understand the spirit of Haman. He has that same spirit. He was born with it. He was born to grow into a Israelite hater, a Jew hater. And this has nothing to do with anti-Semitism. This is strictly Shemitic, according to our records. Read on.
Khan, Esther chapter 4, verse 8. Also, we gave him the copy of the writing of the decree that was given at Shushan to destroy them, to shew it unto Esther, and to declare it unto her, and to charge her that she should go in unto the king to make supplication unto him.
Okay, so this is the advice Hatak brings back to Esther from Mordecai. Mordecai is making a plea. He's making a plea to his daughter, his stepdaughter, his cousin Esther, and he's pleading with her to go to the king and break it down to him, and break it down what Haman is up to, what this Amalek is doing. Remember, the king's a Persian. He's not an Edomite. He's appointed an Edomite as his right-hand man, as his chief advisor. Read on.
Khan, and to make requests before him for her people. And Hatak came and told Esther the words of Mordecai. Again, Esther spoke unto Hatak.
Salakio, what verse we?
Verse 10.
Khan.
And gave him commandment unto Mordecai, all the king's servants and the people.
So again, Esther spake unto Hatak and gave him commandments unto Mordecai. Read.
Khan, all of the king's servants and the people of the king's provinces do know that whosoever, whether man or woman, shall come unto the king into the inner court, who is not called, there is one law of his to put him to death.
Okay, so you couldn't just invite yourself. Imagine the Windsor royal family today. No one in here can walk up to Buckingham Palace and just walk straight through the royal guard, straight into the royal palace. It's not happening. You'd be arrested on the spot. And this is what's going on here. Mordecai cannot just, and he's in his sackcloth. There's a certain apparel you have to present yourself before the king. Read that again, Baba Kasha.
Khan. All the king's servants and the people of the king's province do know that whosoever man or woman shall come into the king's inner court, who is not called, there is one law of his to put him to death.
Read.
Except such to whom the king shall hold the golden scepter.
Okay, so his golden scepter, if he hands it to you or acknowledges you with it, you're welcome. If he doesn't, and you have no invitation, if your name's not down, you're not coming in. This is punishable by death. Read.
Khan, that he may live. But I have not been called to come in unto the king these 30 days.
Okay, so Mordecai had not been called. Read on.
Khan, and they told to Mordecai Esther's words.
Read.
Then Mordecai commanded to answer Esther, think not with thyself that thou shalt escape in the king's house.
Okay, so Esther at first is thinking about her own welfare. She's a Jew. She's never told the king that she's a Jew. She never told the king when she got with him that a lineage, a heritage, a bloodline. The king knows not that she's a Jew. And Haman has twisted and plotted and got into the king's head, and the king's made a decree, a law, that all these people that don't follow the Persian law and follow their own law, the Torah, they are to be rounded up and put to death. This guy Haman has built a 50-cubit gallows to hang Mordecai and to hang the Jews and round them up in all the provinces. And Esther, knowing this and hearing this from her uncle, from her cousin or her stepfather Mordecai, her first natural instinct is to want to protect herself, to keep living. But read on. Let's see where Esther takes this.
Khan, verse 14. For if thou altogether holdest thy peace at this time, then shall their enlargement and deliverance arise to the Jews.
Okay, so Esther's in a privileged position. She's in a position of power. Just like a lot of our people, so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are today. Floyd Mayweather. What's Obama's a Hamite, a heathen. Michelle Obama, she's an Israelite. Oprah Winfrey, Beyonce, Rihanna. Are these protecting our nation? Are these teaching our children the truth out of our records? Are these people that are, I wouldn't say leading us, but even our pastors that are leading us in our communities today, they're not doing right by us. Most of them are in privileged position. A lot of them have got TV, they've got millions of followers on the internet, and they're taking up their time to get rich, famous, and build their empire. They're doing nothing for us, so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, and they're in privileged positions. And if you can understand that, you can understand how Mordecai is coming to his stepdaughter. He's telling her, look, you're in a privileged position. You've got to, if you don't save Israel, if you don't save the Jews, this is going to be on your head. Read.
Khan, from another place. But thou and thy father's house shall be destroyed.
Thy father's house shall be destroyed. Read.
Khan, and who thy knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such time at this. Then Esther bade them return Mordecai this answer. Go gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan, and fast ye for me, and neither eat nor drink 3 days.
Okay, so Esther's had to check herself, and when she's checked herself, she realizes that her stepfather's right. She's right. She's in a privileged position, and the onus is on her. She needs to do something about this. She can't let, this is the righteousness coming out in Esther now, and it's Mordecai, her stepfather, that's bringing it out of her. Read.
Night or day, I also and my maidens will fast likewise.
Okay, so she's asking Mordecai to go and tell the Jews, fast, pray. Let's summon God. Let's get God's spirit around us and about us. And I will do the same. As a sister, I will do the same. Let's do this together. Read.
And we're gone, and so will I go unto the king,
and she will take her request to the king, her husband. Read.
which is not according to the law.
Even though it goes against the decree, she's still going to do it and risk her own life. Read.
And we're gone, and if I perish, I perish.
Okay, and that's the deal. She's going all out now. She's putting her life on the line, just like Christ did. Now we know Esther's not on that level, that tier of Christ, but she's prepared to perish. If she perish, she. How many sisters in here can say the same thing? How many sisters would perish for Israel, for the school? Would you give up your life for the school? This is what Esther was prepared to do. Exactly what she was prepared to do. She was prepared to give up everything she had. She had half of this kingdom. She had half of the Persian provinces. She was given half of it, 50% of it by the king, Azorus. She's prepared to give that up and give her life up and go to the gallows herself to save her people. You got something, other one?
Turn to the sisters in the school. Turn to the sisters in the school. They are giving up something. They've given up their life. They've come into the school, done their 90 days, get a brand new name and change their life. So the sisters in the school are definitely doing what are doing, great in that sense. The sisters in the world now, are they doing that? Like we said before, Oprah, Beyonce, you get me, Rihanna and them, are they doing that for our people? You get what I'm saying? They need to come into the school and change their lives.
Completely right, and I agree. But this book is, this story of Esther is so inspiring. The sisters in the school should be inspired to be conducting themselves like this, and that's why I ask: is there any sisters in the school that would give up their life or behave like how Esther's behaved here? Okay, this is a very rare sister. They're very rare, and we commend our sisters in the school for doing their 90 days, giving up their old life and coming out of that life and coming into the truth. It takes a real sister to do what you sisters have done. But I think we'd all agree Esther's next level. Esther's some next level. You got some, sis?
Yes. I just wanted to say that that is basically, like if we're talking about a sister in the school, that's the equivalent of leaving the truth. If you wouldn't do something like that, I would put that in a par of a sister that would leave the truth because of peer pressure or because of whatever. You've left the school, so you're turning your back on Christ and you're turning your back on the school. So the same fight that Esther was showing is the same fight that you kind of show by staying in the school.
Yeah, and there you go. Right? Totally agree. Yeah, there you go. But this is why this is a 3,000 year memorial. So we can teach this every year for 2 days, and our sisters get to hear this, and they remember what they should be striving for, how to conduct themselves, how to behave, how they should be conducting themselves in their lives when they walk out of these doors and leave the school. And that's the inspiration behind the book of Esther. And we've celebrated this as a nation, as a people, for 3,000 years. 3,000 year story. This is the book of Esther. Read.
Khan, verse 17. So Mordecai went his way and did according to all that Esther commanded him.
Okay, so Mordecai's on a mission now, and he's got to go and he's got to show our people to pray, fast, and do what Esther's asked to do. Let's draw the Most High. Let's draw the Lord into this. Let's get him involved. There's no bigger game player than the Lord. There's no bigger game player than the Most High God. And that's what Esther's doing here. Read.
Khan, chapter 5. Now it came to pass on the 3rd day that Esther put on her royal apparel.
So she's looking bling. She's straight dripping. Read.
And stood in the inner court of the king's house, over against the king's house. And the king sat upon his royal throne of the royal house.
Okay, so now Esther's scheming. She's flipped it on her man. Her man's been scheming with and planting dirty seeds in the king's head. Now it's Esther's turn. She's going to do the same, but where Haman was doing it against the Jews, our people, now Esther's going to do it against Haman, this wicked, devilish Edomite. Read.
Corner one corn over against the gate of the house. And it was so. When the king saw Esther, the queen, standing in the court, that she obtained favor in his sight. And the king held out to Esther the golden scepter that was in his hand.
There was no one more beautiful in all the lands than Esther. When the king seen her straight dripping, he was besotted. Read.
Corner one corn. So Esther drew near and touched the top of the scepter.
Okay, and not anybody can do this. You can't touch the top of the king's scepter. You do that, you know you're accepted. You know, in the king's eyes, you're one of us. Even though she's not one of them, she's one of us. Read.
Corner then said the king unto her, what wilt thou, Queen Esther, and what is thy request?
Okay, now her plan is coming to fruition. She's going to start planting that seed in the king's head. Read.
Corn. It shall be even given thee to the half of the kingdom.
So like how we go on road in the highways and byways, and all we're trying to do when we keep street camp and teach is plant that seed in our people's head to get them in these doors. We want them to plant the seed. We can't go through our entire records in a 4 or 5 hour street camp. We just haven't got the time, but we do our best and we put in the work to plant that seed in our people's head, just like Esther's doing now. Once you get that small portion of the truth and you wake up and you realize who you are, it's your job to go home, go away and do your research and find out if the priests and prophets in the ISUPK are telling the truth or not, if these records are real, if they align with archaeological evidence, historical evidence, so on and so forth, etc. And that's what Esther's doing here. She's planting a seed in the king's head. Read.
Corn. And Esther answered, if it seem good unto the king, let the king and Haman come this day unto the banquet that I have prepared for him.
Okay, so she's setting up Haman. She's setting up Haman over the next few verses, and she's setting him up for a fall, a massive fall. Okay, so let's jump down to verse 9, Baba Kashar.
Verse 9.
Okay, this is where the king's had his request from Esther, and Esther's planted that seed in his head that she wants to throw a second feast for him, a party, almost like an after party. It's a feast of wine. Read.
Then went Haman forth that day joyful and with glad heart.
So like you read that again.
Then went Haman forth that day joyful and with a glad heart.
Okay, so the king's called Haman and filled him in. Look, my ribs throwing an after party for us. It's going to be red wine, white wine, grapevine, all kinds of wine. We're going to be there. We're going to get merry. She's throwing it in mine in your name. Read.
That he stood not up, nor moved for him. He was full of indignation against Mordecai. But when Haman saw Mordecai in the king's gate, that he stood not up, nor moved for him, he was full of indignation for Mordecai.
Okay, so most of the Jews in most of the provinces and all the other people in all the lands, they bowed before Haman because of his pull, his power. He was the king's chief advisor, his right-hand man. Mordecai didn't fall for it. That didn't wash with Mordecai. Mordecai was the one Jew that wouldn't bow before Haman. Okay, and this really pissed him off. He already hated the Jews and wanted to wipe us out and destroy us. And now you've got this singular Jew that just will not bow to him, will not humble himself. Read.
Khan, nevertheless, Haman refrained himself.
Okay, so with all his vexation, with all his anger, he said to himself, okay, I've got a party to go to. Let me chill and relax. Okay, I'll get you later. I won't get you now, but I'll get you later. I'll get you another day. Read.
Khan, and when he came home, he sent and called for his friends and Zeresh, his wife.
Okay, why do you think he called for his family and his friends? He's puffed up. He's puffed up, ain't it? The kings told him, the kings called him and asked for his advice about the seed that had been planted in the king's head by Esther. And that seed was what? That seed, we skipped it, but that seed was Esther had told the king about the records of a man that a man saving the king's life from two of the courtyard guards, two of the gatemen. Okay. And when the king got wind of this, he wanted to honor this man. Okay. So he called his chief advisor to ask, how should we honor him? And the king's and the advisor thinking that the king's who the hell would the king want to honor? He must be talking about me. I'm his advisor and he wants to honor me. There's nobody else in all the land that would have this effect on the king. So he starts spilling the beans, all the things that he finds, all the things that he would like in his life. So he's talking about a royal horse to ride through the town, one of the king's royal horses, the king's apparel.
Did you skip over that?
We've jumped it. One of the king's royal crowns, and for time's sake, other one. We're going to skip a few verses. And so he's advised the king of these things. And now here we are, and he's going to find out at the party who the king is talking about. Read on. What verse you at?
Verse 11.
Fine.
And Haman told them of the glory of his riches and the multitude of his children and all the things wherein the king had promoted him.
Okay, so he's boasting to his family, look, the king's about to honor me. He's going to do this, that, and the other, and I'm going to be glorified and worshipped in all the provinces. Read.
And how he had advanced him above the princes and servants of the king. Haman said, moreover, yea, Esther the queen did not let no man come in with the king unto the banquet.
So he's really boosted because Esther wouldn't do this for any and anybody. Read.
That she had prepared but myself. And tomorrow am I invited unto her also with the king.
So you can see from this that he really has convinced himself in all his glory and vanity that the king is about to honor him. He's so wrapped up in self-worship and self-glory, he can't see past the end of his nose. Read.
God, yet all this availeth me nothing, so long as I see Mordecai the Jew sitting at the king's gate.
So he and this is that wicked ass spirit in Amalek. Okay, he's got all this glory that he believes consciously is about to fall in his lap, fall at his feet, and he's still worried about this one Negro, this one Jew, this one so-called black man. It's still playing him in the back of his mind. Imagine you argue with your neighbor every day of the week. The same old argument, the same old, he cuts the hedge too low, too high. He throws all his rubbish over the fence into your garden. Then you wake up one morning and you win the 10 mil lotto. But you're not worried about that 10 mil lotto. You're more worried and complaining all day about the rubbish your neighbor throws into your garden instead of just getting up out of there and buying a new house and getting out of that estate. You got something there, bro?
Yeah. That's like the Edomites today. Like they got the whole entire earth, man. They got the whole planet right now, ruling everything. And yet their problem is black people. Their hatred for black people. This is
Right.
Ammon. This is a proud spirit of Ammon right here, man. This is the proud spirit of the Edomites, the Amalekites. You understand? Right here, man. Not the Amalekites. The what them Jewish people? What's the biblical? Amalek. The Amalekites. Yeah. Right. This is their proudness right here in the verse, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a heavy point because we can't get away. This is the things that our king's going to deal with when he comes back. Amalek's right at the top of that list. They're going to be the first to be dealt with. Read on. I think there's just one more verse.
Verse 14. Then said Zeresh to his wife and all his friends unto him, let a gallows be made of 50 cubits high, and tomorrow speak thou unto the king that Mordecai may be hanged thereon. Then go thou in merrily with the king up unto the banquet.
Okay, so her man's got to go and see the king and liaise with him, and he's going to advise the king to build a 50 cubit gallows to hang Mordecai and all these Jews that he wants to get rid of. Jump that. Let's go to verse 6, straight into chapter 6.
Chapter 6. On that night could not the king sleep, and he commanded to bring the book of records of the chronicles.
Okay.
All right, give the priest a hand. An excellent job. All right, so like where we at? Chapter 6. In what chapter? Chapter 6.
Chapter
Verse
6.
1. Go ahead. Khan, on that night could not the king sleep, and he commanded to bring the book of records of the chronicles.
So the Most High put it on this king's spirit where he couldn't sleep. Something he's twisting and turning, and he couldn't sleep. And he asked for the book of records, records of things that have gone on. You know what I'm saying? Things to do with the king, his chronicles, right? His stories. Go ahead.
Khan, and they were read before the king.
And he read his stories. He read things that have gone on. He read things about himself. Things, things in the king's chronicles. As the king is, being a king, just like the history books is being written as he's doing it. So he's recalling things that have happened and gone on previously. Go ahead.
Khan, and it was found written that Mordecai had told of Bigtha and Teresh, two of the king's chamberlains.
And it was read that Mordecai had told, of the two doormen that were plotting to unalive the king. Right? Go ahead.
The keepers of the door who sought to lay hand on the king Ahasuerus. And the king said, what honor and dignity have been done to Mordecai for this?
So now Mordecai saved the king's life. You know what I'm saying? And the king is wondering, okay, well, I remember that. What did we do to Mordecai to, to honor him, that he's literally saved my life? What did we do to, do something for Mordecai? And they didn't do anything. Read on.
Khan then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, there is nothing done for him.
We didn't do anything. We just done his word, saved your life, and kept it pushing. It's still been sitting at the door of the court, every day, but we hadn't done nothing to him. We hadn't given no riches. We ain't given no reward. He saved your life, but he's just a Jew. He's just that black man. Yeah, he saved your life, but he's just a nigga. That's all. Carry on.
Khan, and the king said, who is in the court? Now Haman was come into the outward court of the king's house to speak unto the king to hang Mordecai on house.
So now, as Haman, this wicked, Edomite, right, who is going to present this idea to make a 50-foot gallows. Now, why on earth do you need? I mean, I'm not a mathematician, but a man is only around what, like 5, 6, 7 foot. You need a 50-foot gallows to hang Mordecai because you're offended. Like think of how wicked this man is. On the night before, he's about to have a party and a meeting with the king, get down, get busy. He's gassed himself up because only the king and him was invited to this party that Esther's, putting together. And in that, his mind is so wicked, is so hateful towards a black man, is so hateful towards Mordecai, that the only thing on his mind is unaliving this man is in the most, in the just the flashiest way possible. I mean, hanging is a method of torture that the devil has, been doing to black people for how many years? Since this time, they hung Christ on a tree. They hang brothers, in America on trees, left, right, and center. This is just something they like to do. But this wicked devil wants to build a 50-foot gallows to hang a black man. And he's going to the king. Go ahead.
To hang Mordecai on the gallows that he had prepared for him.
Mm-hmm.
And the king's servant said unto him, Behold, Haman standeth in court. And the king said, Let him come in.
Mm-hmm.
So Haman came in. And the king said unto him, What shall be done unto the man whom the king delighteth to honor?
And so now, Haman just happens to be in the court. And goes into the king, and the king asked him, what should I do to the man that I delight to, that I want to reward? What should I do to a man that I want to do something for somebody? What should I do? Go ahead.
Now Haman thought in his heart, to whom would the king delight to do honor more than to myself?
And of course, this devil thought to himself, well, who else would the king want to do something to? Who else would the king want to honor more than myself? I mean, I've been, put in this high position. That the king has decreed that everyone should bow to me. Who else would the king want to reward or honor? This just arrogant devil, just arrogant, just straight up and down. Like who else? Who else? I read on.
And Haman answered the king, For the man whom the king delighteth to honor, let the royal apparel be brought, which the king useth to wear.
Good night. So now this devil's showing up. Oh, you want to do something to honor somebody, King Ahasuerus. You want to honor somebody. Well, who else would it be but me? Okay, well, maybe, to that man you want to honor, let him wear the royal apparel. Let him wear your finest garments. He wants to wear the king's clothes, not just, some nice flashy clothes and parade him around the streets. He wants to wear the king's clothes. Like the arrogance of this man. Read on.
And the horse that the king rideth upon.
And the very horse the king rides upon. That horse is, the king would have the best horse, you think? The best horse, and he just wants really what the king has. He wants to be king. Like he wishes he was that guy, but he's not. You're not that guy, right? But he's saying let's put on him the king's best clothes. Let him ride on the king's horse. Go ahead.
And the crown royal which is set upon his head.
And the crown, the very crown the king wears. Put it on that man you want to honor. Put that royal crown on that man. Go ahead.
And let his apparel on the horse be delivered to the hand of the king's most noble princes.
And let the apparel be delivered and the horse be delivered to one of the king's most noble princes. So again, he's thinking it's himself. He's thinking, well, who else? But I'm a noble prince. I'm being invited to this dinner tomorrow with the Queen Esther, right? As the king, appointed her as queen or whatever. Obviously, that's not our custom, but he's been invited to the meal, a grand party, and now the king is asking, what should I do to somebody I want to honor? So he's listing out everything he wants. He wants the king's clothes, the king's horse, give all those, the king's crown. The crown upon the king's head, he wants it. Yeah, let me have that, man. Let me get that. Right? And he said, let it be delivered to one of the king's most noble princes. Again, just bigging himself up. Just arrogant devil. Just arrogant. We done?
Khan, that they may array the man withal whom the king delighteth to honor.
That they may array the man with all the king delights to honor. Go ahead.
Khan, and bring him on horseback through the street of the city, and proclaim before him, thus shall it be done. Thus shall it be done to the man whom the king delighteth to honor.
And so, give him the king's clothes, the king's crown on the king's horse, and parade him through the city. That's what you should do to, somebody you want to honor. If it was my decision, that's what I would do to a man I wants to honor. Go ahead.
Khan, then the king said unto Haman, make haste and take the apparel and the horse as thou hast said.
And so, as Haman said, he said, give these things to a noble prince to do unto this man and parade him through the city in the king's clothes, crown, and horse. Right. And so the king said, okay, bet. That's a good idea. I should do that. Right. So the king said, okay, well, take these things. Right? You a noble prince. Take these clothes, take this horse, take this crown, and give it to who?
And do so, even so, to Mordecai, the Jew.
And do so, even so, meaning do exactly what you said. Exactly the way you laid it out, Haman, was so beautiful. Like that's fine. Like that's a good idea. That's what I'm saying. I like that. Do it exactly as you said. Do it to Mordecai. Give those things to Mordecai, the Jew. Ooh-wee. Go ahead.
That sitteth at the king's gate. Let nothing fail of all that thou hast spoken.
Of everything you said. All of the nicest clothes, the baddest horse, the king's horse, the king's crown, and parade him through the city and let people know that this is what the king wanted to do to honor this man. And don't let anything fail from what you said. I want it exactly how you pictured it. Let it be done. But to Mordecai. but to Mordecai, that's who I want to honor. Now, just imagine how peed off this devil. This devil was already so aggravated because this dude, this black man, would not bow to him. And who is a black man to not bow to another white man? To not bow to Prince Andrew, King Charles. Like, who is a black man to not bow to me? I'm somebody the king set up. Matter of fact, it's a commandment. Everybody has to bow to me. So who is this black man? And now that again, got to the point where Haman's so peed off, he wants to make a 50-foot gallows to hang him. And now on the flip side, he has to give him the king's clothes, the king's crown, parade him through the city on the king's horse, the very thing that he wanted. He has to do to the man that he hates the most. Go ahead.
On Khan, verse 11, then took Haman the apparel and the horse and arrayed Mordecai and brought him on horse back through the street of the city.
And boy, he begrudgingly, he said, damn, I get the clothes, get the horse, get Mordecai, get that black man and put him on the horse. You want to say who's that nigga on that night, but get the black man and put him on the horse, give him the clothes, exactly as I said it. Yeah, you can't disobey the king. Go ahead.
On Khan, and proclaimed before him, thus shall it be done unto the man whom the king delighteth to honor. And Mordecai came again to the king's gate.
So after all that happened, paraded through the city, Mordecai went back to the king's gate. Go ahead.
But Haman hasted to his house mourning.
But Haman ran home like a crybaby, like an absolute crybaby. Imagine, give me 1 second, I'll get right to you. Imagine, like, doing this for this man does not take away your position. It don't take away that you're a noble. It don't take away no riches, no power from you. But the fact that you had to do this, what you wanted to a black man or to somebody that you hated. I mean, he just ran home crying, just in tears. I mean, this is the white man we talk about. I'm surprised he didn't alive himself. Like that seems right. That seems about the appropriate response. Shalom, Christ. Feel like you got a point.
I'm surprised when he heard that he didn't go and commit suicide.
That's exactly what I said. Like that's what the president would do. But I suppose this one had a little bit more, you know. I mean, he's still a prince, so you know. Right, I suppose all hope is not lost, and maybe just maybe the king will still hang him after doing all the things to honor him. So he's maybe still holding out hope. But he was probably close. If he had a pistol, he'd probably put it in his mouth. Pause. That's what I mean. I don't know what it is with Edomites and putting a gun in their mouth, but that's just what they do. But carry on.
Gone Khan and having his head covered.
Mhm.
And Haman told Jeresh's wife and all his friends everything that had befallen him.
If I was a white man, I wouldn't tell my wife none of that. if I was a white man, I would not tell my woman any of that. Just go home and cry in a dark room by yourself, and that's that. But he told his woman, good night. He told his woman, and now his woman, knows he's just even less of a man. He's crying on the floor, rolling on the floor, because he had to honor a man whom he despises and wants to unalive. Go ahead.
Khan then said his wise men and Zeresh his wife unto him, If Mordecai be of the seed of the Jews, before whom thou hast begun to fall,
Good night. Go ahead.
thou shalt not prevail against him.
The wise men, his wife, they all said, hey, yo, now, I know you hate the Jews, Haman, but if you were going to present to unalive this man, and in the same day you had to dress him in the king's clothes, the king's crown, and the king's horse, parade him through the city, I don't think you got it. I don't think you got it, man. I don't think you're gonna prevail. I think the Most High might be with this brother. He is a Jew. He is God's chosen people. They got history. These are the people that the Most High slaughtered the Egyptians to get out of captivity. I don't think you got it, man. I think you should, just let it to rest. Leave Mordecai be. I don't think you can go win. Go ahead.
Khan, but shalt surely fall before him.
Yeah, the Most High is clearly with that brother. I would just call it a day. Enjoy your riches. Enjoy everybody else that bounds to you. But I wouldn't, I'll just leave that alone. Go ahead.
Khan, verse 14. And while they were yet talking with him, came the king's chamberlains and hasted to bring Haman unto the banquet that Esther had prepared.
While they were giving him that counsel to leave Mordecai alone before the Most High falls upon your head. Right, while they were giving him that counsel, one of the king's chamberlains hasted and brought Haman to the dinner. Go ahead.
Khan, chapter 7. So the king and Haman came to the banquet with Esther the queen. And the king said again unto Esther on the second day of the banquet of wine, What is thy petition, Queen Esther?
And so the king is asking her, okay, well, you got this dinner, you got us together, you got me and Haman. You know what I'm saying? I know you want something. What's your petition? What it is that you desire? Go ahead.
Khan, and it shall be granted thee.
And whatever you want, I'll grant it.
And what is thy request? And it shall be performed.
And whatever you want, since you bad as hell, I mean, that's not his sister, that's his rib. But to Esther, the sister's bad. Whatever you want, whatever you request, I'll get it done. I'm already in a good mood. You know what I'm saying? I just ran through my records, found a man who we hadn't honored, and did something good to honor him. So whatever you want, you know what I'm saying? I'm already in a good mood. You're looking bad. Go ahead, ask it. I'll do it. Go ahead.
Khan, even to half of the kingdom.
Even to half the kingdom, whatever you want. That tail was tailored. That tail must have been. This is a sister. This is, a daughter of the children of Israel. This is a Benjamite sister. You know what I'm saying? Not no tribalism, but this was an Israelite. We know our sister is bad as hell. This king is ready to give up half his kingdom for this woman. This is what you'd call a simp in this day and age. But this king was, he was ready to give everything. Go ahead.
Khan. Then the Esther the queen answered and said, If I found favor in thy sight, O king, and if it please the king, let my life be given me at my petition.
And look how she's talking so soft. She ain't just go in there and say, hey, free my people, man. free my dogs, man. She ain't going there all masculine and rough and just trying to. She didn't go for half the kingdom. She said, well, King, if it be your request, if I have found favor in your sight, I'm saying, we got a point. Go ahead.
And like you said, she didn't go for half the kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
That the king is giving her half of his kingdom,
right.
half of his empire, 27, the whole 27 provinces and all that.
Mm-hmm.
He's giving her half of that. And what's on Queen Esther's mind at this point is the commandment that Mordecai charged her.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And she's about to put her life on the line. She has put her life on the line to go before the king. You know what I'm saying? To get Ammon, this wicked Ammon, off of the backs of our people, man.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's a great and outstanding woman right there, man.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And even the king knows it. The king knows it so far. The king will give her half the kingdom, man.
Ooh-wee.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Now you absolutely right. So the king is offering this woman up to half the kingdom, whatever you want. But this sister remembered her people.
That's right.
This sister didn't think about herself and what she could have. She remembered her people. She remembered Mordecai. She remembered, the children of Israel. Go ahead.
Can't let my life be given me at my petition.
So she's speaking all soft. If I found favor in your sight, and if it pleased the king, let my life be given me. And now the king gonna be wondering, what do you mean? What do you mean? You ain't in danger. Your life ain't on the line. What do you mean? Let your life be given you? Because the king don't know that obviously she's a Jew, right? So she is even the way. A sister being feminine can get so much from a man,
right?
But on top of being feminine, submissive, if I have found favor in your sight, and if it please you, let my life be in thy petition, right? Let my life be given me at thy petition, meaning now she's a damsel. Now she's feminine, she's submissive, and now she's in danger and she needs protecting, right? This sister knows exactly what she's doing. This is the skill a couple of these, sisters today could learn from this sister and how she's speaking to her husband, right? Go ahead.
And Slaki too, yeah. The Bible says a soft voice turn away wrath.
Ooh-wee.
And this sister know how to. These sisters in the world today, they don't know how to be a sister like this. Sister like this is precious. You'll have your man doing anything you want. Well, you know what I'm saying? Give and take. You know what I mean? There's boundaries and borders and shit. But yeah, this is to know how to lay it down softly for the king, man. You know what I mean?
That's a fact. Like our sisters think today under this oppressor and his system, and how the white woman bullies her man a lot of the time. The white man beats her and she just bullies him emotionally and verbally, and just destroys their minds and eventually end with a gun in his mouth. But like, if our sisters knew how to really speak to their man in that soft tone, like, there have been wars fought over women. There have been plenty of people unalive. Now, not to say you should go around playing niggas against other niggas, but if you know that to get your man what it is that you want him to do, you don't get it by nagging him, yelling at him, cussing him out. You don't get it by doing none of that. Cussing out his mother, his grandmother, his auntie, his father that was never in his life, and now you saying, well, that's why you were BITCH. That's why you ain't itch, because you wanted to take out the rubbish. You could have just asked him, just slack you. Could have asked him nicely and say, that the rubbish in the kitchen is building up. It's a little harmful for my nose. My nose is sensitive. You know what I'm saying? Like, sis, like you know how to. If you knew how to do it, you could really get what you want. You got to talk to that man right, and this sister is talking to that man right.
They know how to do it when they need to get a job.
They know how to suck up to the oppressor.
The boss. That's right.
Yeah, they know how to suck up to massa. But sis, do some sucking to your husband. Fuck. I'm playing, y'all, but sis, talk to your man correct. Like, your man should have more respect from you than some slave master at your job. And talk to that man right. He will deal with you right. All right, go ahead.
Khan, and my people at my request, for we are sold I and my people to be destroyed, to be slain, and to perish.
Mm.
For if we had been sold for bondmen and bondwomen, I had held my tongue, although the enemy could not countervail the king's damage.
So she's now put herself as a damsel. She's saying, you know, let my life be given me thy petition and my people at my request. Because me and my people, you have a question, young man? No? No sweat. I and my people, we have been sold to be slain and destroyed and perish. There's an order and there's a decree to unalive me, okay, and my people. If it be your will, if I found favor, let us live. The king don't know again, like what the hell she talking about. The king is confused, like who's trying to unalive you? You the baddest broad in the whole 27 premises. Who's trying to attack you? Who's trying to harm? This sister know how to get some protection, some, you know what I'm saying? She know how to do what they do.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Yeah, just watch the camera and make sure the camera don't knock hold. All right. Go ahead.
Khan, verse 5. Then the king Ahasuerus answered and said unto Esther the queen,
Mm-hmm.
Who is he,
Mm.
and where is he? And Esther said, The adversary and the enemy
Hold on. You skipped the part. Who is he and where is he?
that durst presume in his heart to do so.
So the king right now, just, you know, he's finding out that his woman, the woman that, you know what I'm saying, he'd been waiting to give half his kingdom to, is in danger. He said, who's trying to harm you? Who's the man? Where is the man that is trying to harm you and your people? The people of my woman is so fine. Who is trying to harm you? Where is he? All right, go ahead.
Khan and Esther said, The adversary and enemy is the wicked Haman.
Ooh, she and now, after being so soft, submissive, she's the damsel that needs protecting. The adversary right there. that devil right there, Haman. The adversary and the what?
Khan and the enemy.
And the enemy, the man that is trying to unalive sweet old Esther. Sweet old me. The man, the adversary and the enemy. He right there. Haman. That's him. He's trying to unalive me and my people. Go ahead.
Khan. Then Haman was afraid before the king and queen.
Haman said, oh, Haman got a little hot around the collar. Now he's thinking he should have committed suicide. He's thinking he should have just ended it right there and then. Right? He getting afraid and said, oh, snap. Esther is a Jew too. Did not know that. Go ahead.
Khan. And the king, arising from the banquet of wine in his wrath, went into the palace garden.
The king just got up, left the room. Haman is shaking. Haman is deathly afraid. The man, he didn't realize that him and his hatred for Mordecai has got him in this position. Right. His hatred for Mordecai, you know, he didn't know that Esther was a Jew too. And Esther, being a righteous and strong sister, is about to get what's his name? Haman knocked off. Yeah, you done. Or the way she was talking so smooth. Oh yeah, you know you did. The way she was talking so smooth to the king was already Peter. Who was trying to unalive you? That nigga right there. That's him. It's him, officer. No, but she ain't an informer, but that's the man who's trying to unalive me and my people. If it be thy petition, let me live. Now the king got up, left the room, and is just pacing back and forth in his garden. Pacing back and forth in the palace garden. Go ahead.
Khan, and Haman stood up to make a request for his life to Esther, the queen. For he saw that there was evil determined against him by the king.
Oh yeah, he knew it was up. He knew, oh boy, Esther, please. I didn't even know. I didn't even know. Like, why didn't you tell me that the king is going to have my head? He's going to. please, is there something I can do? Please calm him down. I didn't know. I didn't mean it. Mordecai just didn't bow. Now he about to lose his whole life because he got so mad that an Israelite would not bow to him. Again, like I said yesterday, Mordecai was just following our law. Our law is you cannot put a king over you that is not chosen by God and that is not your brother. Haman is not our brother, so why would Mordecai bow to him? Who are you to me? It could be if there's any commandment of the land that goes against the commandments of the Lord, I know where I stand. And Haman in his just arrogance and just haughtiness, his boastfulness, has now got his whole life is in the balance, is in the hand of Esther. Read on. Which is a Jew. Same, and imagine as well. This is a good point. Like this one man didn't bow to you, and now you want to unalive his whole people. You want to unalive the whole entire nation. I mean, you got to go. You were wicked, so and so. Go ahead.
Khan. Then the king returned out of the palace garden into the palace of the banquet of wine, and Haman was fallen upon the bed whereon Esther was.
Good night. So the king, Haman, in trying to plead for his life, is rushing to Esther and grabbing onto her clothes and begging for his life. She ends up on the bed. Haman on top of her, trying to pray and grab onto her and plead for his life. King comes back and sees this. Oh yeah, you done. You was absolutely done. Read on.
Khan. Then said the king, will he force the queen also before me in this house?
He said, you gonna try and force my woman too in my house? Read on.
As the word went out of the king's mouth, they covered Haman's face.
before he could even finish speaking, they put a bag over his head, dragged him to the damn, dragged him some dungeon somewhere, gripped him up and held him there. Read on.
And Harbanar, one of the chamberlains, said before the king, behold, also the gallows 50 cubits high, which Haman had made for Mordecai.
And so they grabbed up Haman, covered his face, and one of the chamberlains said, hey, he was trying to unalive Mordecai, all the Jews. He just recently built this gallows 50 cubits? 50 cubits high that he made to unalive Mordecai, the man that saved your life, the man you just got done parading. Like this, I mean, it's not looking good. I'll tell you straight up and down, it's not looking good for Haman. Most high in Christ. Read on.
Khan, who had spoken good for the king, standeth in the house of Haman. Then the king said, hang him thereon.
The king said, on the same gallows that you wanted to harm Esther's people, that you wanted to harm Mordecai, a man that saved my life, that you now you're looking like you try to force my woman. Hang him on them same gallows. Put him 50 cubits in the air. Let him fly with the birds. They say he ain't swimming with the fishes. He's flying with the birds. Go ahead.
Khan. Then they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. Then was the king's wrath pacified.
And then and only then was the king's wrath pacified. And this is what happens when you try and come against God's chosen people when they are serving the Lord, when they are serving the Most High. They were in, they may be in captivity. They may be, in a low state. But if you try and come against the children of Israel when we're serving the Lord, you try and come against a man like Mordecai, you will find yourself on some gallows. You trying to hang him and you trying to, unalive all the Jews. But the Most High said he ain't, the children of Israel, they will never be, unalive like that. They'll be as the sand of the sea. He'll never do away with the Israelites. That's right. So you can, if you're planning to commit genocide, unalive all the Israelites, it just ain't going to work. The Most High is stronger than your hatred. The Most High, his promise is stronger than your envy and hatred and arrogance. Go ahead.
That's right. Salakia too, like how Ammon has done with our people
Mhm.
and how he's been with our people. It's the same way the whole nation of Esau, the Edomites, you understand, have been done. The daughter of Babylon has
Mhm.
done to our people, and all the slavery, the rape, rob,
Mhm.
all the murder, all the unaliving, all the hatred. You know what I'm saying? Every wicked thing that they've done to our people is hanging right over their head right now. There's a gallows in the most there's a gallows in the heaven. The Most High is preparing a gallows right now for these oppressors, man. You know what I'm saying? Their blood is upon their own head when the Lord when Christ returns, man.
That's
You know what I'm
right.
saying? For what they've done to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man.
I mean, the Bible says, "Prepare unto her double."
Right.
Or give unto her double all the wicked things they did to the children of Israel, trying to commit genocide and unalive us, setting traps and different techniques to get us to unalive each other, sell drugs to one another, unalive our own babies in these abortion clinics, which the abortion clinics were made as an attempt to commit genocide. They were made for that purpose. Eugenics, or what is it, eugenics or youth whatever that word is. They were trying to unalive black children, and it's working. No sweat. All them lives that have been lost is going to be returned on your head. You're going to be hung on your own gallows. Go ahead.
Quran chapter 8. On that day did King Ahasuerus give the house of Haman to the Jews.
The Jews' enemy.
The Jews give the house of Haman, the Jews' enemy, unto Esther the queen. And
Go ahead.
And Mordecai came before the king, for Esther had told what he was unto her.
And so now all that Haman had, all that title that he had, and riches and wealth and his houses, all that was given to Esther. And then Mordecai, Esther heard wind that Esther is basically in Haman's place, and Mordecai came right before the king. He said, "Bet." Go ahead.
And the king took off his ring, which he had taken from Haman, and gave it unto Mordecai.
And the king gave Mordecai Haman's ring that they took from his cold, unalive body off the gallows. Read.
And Esther set Mordecai over the house of Haman.
And then again, so the king gave Esther Haman's house, and Esther gave it to Mordecai. That again shows you the spirit of this sister, that she ain't trying to rule. She ain't trying to have all this power for herself. This sister knows her role as a woman, that a woman ain't supposed to lead. She's a Jew, so she knows our customs, that a man is the head. A woman cannot lead in that capacity. A woman can lead and take care of children and look after the house, but the man is that power. The man is the head. So she gave that house, that role, that position, she gave it to Mordecai. So Mordecai can handle that. All right, go ahead.
And Esther spake yet again before the king, and fell down at his feet, and besought him with tears.
And Esther again about to put another performance. Another performance. She asked, okay, shoot. I got Haman hung on the gallows. What else can I get? She fell down at his feet and cried, and just looking, just so pretty when she cried. Just looking up at him, just only you can save me. like that's the type of thing, I just need to put that in your arsenal. Put that in your pocket. Learn from this sister Esther. This sister, fell to the ground crying and besought the king. Go ahead.
To put away the mischief of Haman the Agagite.
To put away the mischief of Haman. So it ain't enough that Haman is unalive. There's still this decree to unalive the Jews. There's still more to be done. She got on the floor, started crying and begging to the king, put away this evil thing that Haman has decreed. Put away this evil thing that Haman is still, even in his while he's in the grave or in the air. I don't know if it's still at this time, but while he's there, there's still a decree that's harming my people. All right, go ahead.
Khan, and his device that he had devised against the Jews.
Mm-hmm.
Then the king held out his golden scepter toward Esther. So Esther arose and stood up before the king
Mm-hmm.
and said, "If it please the king, and if I have found favor in his sight,
Mm.
and the thing seem right before the king, and I be pleasing in his eyes."
She put a little extra spin. This is the same thing she said last time, but a little extra pizzazz to it. If it if I found favor in your eyes, if it be pleasing and the thing if it seemed right before you. This sister knows how to talk to a man. I mean, Salaki. Go ahead.
Khan, Khan, let it be written to reverse the letters devised by Haman,
Mm-hmm.
the son of Hammedatha the Agagite,
Mm-hmm.
which he wrote to destroy the Jews which are in all the king's provinces.
Mm-hmm.
For how can I endure to see the evil that come unto my people?
Mm-hmm.
Or how can I endure to see the destruction of my kindred?
Again, so I'm safe. Mordecai is good, but my people are still in danger. And how can I endure and sit by and watch as my people get strung up because of something Haman said in his wickedness, right? Please, if it found favor in your sight, send a letter to reverse that, and so my people can live. The children of Israel, the Jews, can live. Go ahead.
Barakah, verse 7. Then the king Ahasuerus said to Esther the queen and to Mordecai the Jew, "Behold, I have given Esther the house of Haman,
Mm-hmm.
and him they have hanged upon the gallows, because he laid his hand upon the Jews.
Mm-hmm.
Write ye also for the Jews as it liketh you, in the king's name, and seal it with the king's ring."
He said, "Listen, Esther, Mordecai, we got rid of Haman. What he was about to do to you and your people. Do as you please. Write this letter, put it in my name, exactly how you want to word it. You know what I'm saying? Do as you please. Save your people. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Khan, for the writing which is written in the king's name and sealed with the king's ring, may no man reverse.
Mm-hmm.
Then were the king's scribes called at the time in the 3rd month, that is the month of Sivan,
Mm-hmm.
on the 23rd day of the day thereof.
Mm-hmm.
And it was written according to all that Mordecai commanded unto the Jews.
Mm-hmm. Now imagine you had to get, again, scribes. Like this ain't, there ain't an email or a TV broadcast you can put to, say, oops, we reversing that. Don't kill the Jews. You had to write all these letters to every province, multiple letters, put them up, make sure everyone's aware. Don't touch these people. All right, go ahead.
Khan, and to all the lieutenants and the deputies and rulers of provinces which are from India unto Ethiopia, and 127 provinces, unto every province according to the writing thereof.
Again, to every province in each of the different languages. You know what I'm saying? Make sure everyone knows this decree is reversed. It has the king's seal, the king's the king's name, the king's seal, so on and so forth. All right, good to go. Go ahead.
Khan, and unto every people after their language, and to the Jews according to their writing, and according to their language.
Now the Jews know as well. This has been decreed. This has been reversed. Right. Go ahead.
Khan, and he wrote in the king Ahasuerus' name, and sealed it with the king's ring, and sent letters by post on horseback, and riders on mules, camels, and young dromedaries.
Yep, dromedaries. So get this message out ASAP. Get this message out ASAP. Make sure it reaches everybody. Go ahead.
Khan, wherein the king granted the Jews which were in every city to gather themselves together and to stand for their life.
And this is what Mordecai wrote in that letter. The king said, "Whatever you want to write it, sign it in my name." This is coming from Mordecai, right? The king granted the Jews which were in every city to do what?
To gather themselves together.
To do what?
To gather themselves together.
To gather yourselves together. The same thing we say in the ISUPK, gather together, O nation not desired. All these people that are trying to attack you, these other nations, the police force, the media, every asset of this kingdom that is trying to attack you. Mordecai gave this decree for the people to gather together and do what?
And to stand for their life.
And to stand for their life. And that's the same thing we should do today. We should gather together in the ISUPK and stand for our lives. And so that anybody tries to harm the children of Israel. You look at ICE today, who are trying to harm, our brothers, our Latino brothers and Haitians and whoever else they just deem as a foreigner and an immigrant. They're trying to harm our people. We should gather together and stand for our life. It's life or death in this kingdom. It's life or death when it comes to these oppressors that hate you. You are a nation that is not desired. Every nation wants you gone. Go ahead.
To destroy, to slay, and to cause to perish all the power of the people and the province that would assault them, both little ones and women, and to take the spoil of them for a prey.
There was a decree that the children of Israel can defend themselves from everybody that would try and harm them. You have the authority to defend yourself, protect your life. If someone tries to come against you, put them in the ground. Shalom. Read on.
Upon one day in all the provinces of King Ahasuerus, namely upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month of Adar, the copy of the writing for a commandment to be given in every province was published unto all people, and that the Jews should be ready against all people
against that day.
Against that day to avenge themselves on their enemies.
That's right. Read on.
So the posts that rode upon mules and camels went out, being hastened and pressed on by the king's commandment. And the decree was given at Shushan the palace. And Mordecai went out from the presence of the king in royal apparel of blue and white, and with a great crown of gold, and with a garment of fine linen and purple.
Now Mordecai ain't wearing no sackcloth no more. But Mordecai got fly. So Mordecai got, he put some nice clothes on, the blue and the white, and the crown of gold with a garment of fine linen and purple. I don't know if y'all know, but purple was like a very expensive dye. Like purple, you don't come across purple like naturally. Like it's an incredibly expensive dye to get. This man was dressed in the best. Go ahead.
Lucky, do you know what verse I'm on?
You was in 15.
Verse 15. And Mordecai went out from the presence of the king in the royal apparel.
Towards the end. And the city of Shushan rejoiced.
And the city of Shushan rejoiced and was glad. The Jews had light and gladness and joy and honor. And in every province and in every city whithersoever the king's commandment and his decree came, the Jews had joy and gladness.
And now instead of heaviness and mourning that we're all going to be unalived because of this damn Mordecai, instead of that, now we have light, we have joy and gladness, a feast. Listen, if you are serving the Lord, the Most High will never forget you. He will never forget you, and he will not allow, harm and wrath to come to the children of Israel. All right, he will find a way to deliver you from whatever it is or whoever it is who was trying to harm you. But an important thing that was in this decree is to gather together. To gather together. Important thing from this lesson that we've learned from Mordecai and Esther. Remember your people. Do not be selfish.
Right.
This to learn how to talk to a man. That's the important lesson from the story, is it not? And gather together and defend yourself. These are important lessons we take from this story. All right, let me see where we at. Bada bing, bada boom. Read on.
A feast and a good day, and many of the people of the land became Jews, for the fear of the Jews fell upon them.
And so many of these people became Jews. So now they started to follow what it is that we do. They followed our customs because they were scared of us. Because now children of Israel have some power. Now, of course, you cannot become a Jew if you're some Indian. You can't become a Jew and now you what, the 13th or 14th tribe. You can't, as a white man, you cannot become an Israelite. That Jewish man, you are not the 13th tribe of Israel. It ain't that's not a thing. But if you want to follow our customs, sure, everybody should do it. It's a righteous way to live. So there is only one people that are the children of the Most High. We done?
Now in the 12th month, that is the month of Adar, on the 30th day of the same, when the king's commandment and his decree drew near to be put in execution, in the day that the enemies of the Jews hoped to have power over them, though it was turned to the contrary, that the Jews had ruled over them that hated them.
And it was completely flipped around, right? It was completely flipped around. They had everybody that sought to harm the children of Israel. They were the ones that were harmed. All right, let me get to bada bing, bada boom. They took out Haman, his sons, unalived, you know what I'm saying? All like 500 men in the palace, you know what I'm saying? They just went on a unaliving spree because of all these people that hate the Jews. All right, they were given the authority to unalive those people, put them down. All right, let me see. Yep, and those Haman's 10 sons got hanged on the same gallows as Haman. Sorry, skip forward a little bit, Salakia. Let me see. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay. Jump to verse 18. 17.
Khan, chapter 9, verse 17. On the 13th day of the month of Adar, and on the 14th day of the same rested day, and made it a day of feasting and gladness.
So after they got done putting everybody down that was an enemy to the Jews, they rested on the 13th and the 4th day, and they made it a day of feasting and gladness. And that's where we're at today. We're at the Feast of Purim to celebrate and feast how the people that sought to unalive the children of Israel, they got put down. They got either put in the air or put in the ground, but they did not succeed against the children of Israel. All right, we done?
Khan, therefore the Jews of the villages that dwelt in the unwalled towns made the 14th day of the month.
You skipped a verse.
But the Jews that were in Shushan assembled together on the 13th day thereof, and on the 14th thereof, and on the 15th day of the same they rested, and made it a day of feasting and gladness.
Yep. God.
Therefore the Jews of the villages that dwelt in the unwalled towns made the 14th day of the month of Adar a day of gladness and feasting, and a good day, and of sending portions to one another.
So this is now a day of gladness and feasting, send portions and send, you know what I'm saying? If one brother over here is lacking something, another brother over here that has it would give it to him. It's a day for the children of Israel to come together as a nation. Again, gather together and defend yourself, gather together. If there's something one brother or one sister lacks, you come together, put together, you know what I'm saying? You fix any distractions. Shalom on Christ. Go ahead.
Verse 20, and Mordecai wrote these things and sent letters unto the Jews that were in all the provinces
21.
of the king of Ahasuerus.
Jump to verse 21.
To establish this among them, that they should keep the 14th day of the month of Adar.
And now it's a decree Mordecai said to establish that this 14th and 15th day of the month of Adar should be kept the same way yearly, to keep this tradition, to keep this memorial, keep this memory of how we overcame the situation we were in, of how we came together as a people. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
And the 15th day, of the same yearly, as the same day wherein the Jews rested from their enemies, and the month which was turned unto them from sorrow to joy.
These are days, this is a feast that shows that our sorrow was turned to mourning, right? And it didn't come by, come by magic. It didn't come by the Most High just causing the flood and swept everything up. It came from a brother and a sister that wants to save their people. It came from a brother and a sister that were willing to risk their own lives to save their people. Came from that sister Esther, who was so right, was so righteous, and put herself on the line. Didn't take that power, didn't take half the kingdom, protected herself and her people. All right, go ahead.
And from morning into a good day, that they should make them days of feasting and joy, and sending a portion one to another, and gifts to the poor.
Again, like giving to one another. If there's something someone lacks, you'll come together and you'll make it right. You know what I'm saying? So nobody is lacking, nobody is going hungry. No children are going hungry or thirsty, so on and so forth. All right, give me to bada bing, bada boom. Give me to verse 26.
Verse 26. Wherefore they called these days purim, after the name of Per. Therefore, for all the words of this letter and of that which they have seen concerning this matter, and which had come unto them, the Jews ordained and took upon them, and upon their seed, and upon all such as joined them themselves unto them, so as it should not fail, that they would keep these 2 days according to their writings, and according to their appointed time every year.
You keep this feast every year, from generation through to generation. You never forget this. Never forget your history. All right, these are important lessons we all need to learn. These stories you read about the Bible, they ain't just stories and bedtime stories. These are lessons for the children of Israel to learn. Lessons for the children of Israel to always remember who we are and to gather together as a people. To not be selfish, to not be self-centered, to gather together. All right, go ahead.
And that these days should be remembered and kept throughout every generation, every family, every province, and every city.
Wherever you are, whatever province, whatever land you're in, you keep this feast. You could be in, we're in the UK, you could be in America, you could be in Trinidad, Jamaica, you could be anywhere. You keep this feast on the 13th and 14th day of the month of Adar. Read up.
And that these days of purim should not fail from among the Jews.
And they should not fail from among the Jews. Go ahead.
Nor the memorial of them perish from their seed.
So that's why, too, this very day, we keep the feast of Purim. And remember Esther. We remember Mordecai. We remember how the children of Israel were saved and we came together. All right, with that, that's the class. All right, we're going to rise and face the east. I'm Madiam. The Lord's Prayer. All right, so Lord's Prayer. Abanaw. Shabbat Shemayim. Kodah. Hayah. Shakka. Yahweh. Malakwaka. Taba'a. Ratazaka. Hayah. Aisha. Ratazah. Kawar. Hayah. Bashemayim. Nathanaw. Lakam. Ka. Yawam. Wasalakanaw. Kawabaknaw. Kasalaknaw. Kawabaknaw. Wala'a. Tabi'anawa. Manasaya one. Abal. Hawashinaw. Mayan. Right. Kaya. Laka. Hamalakwa. Waha'ala. Wahapapara. I will love you. Amen. In the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth. As it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. And forgive us our debt. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. So be it. We definitely want to teach them in the visual. Imagine Shabbat. Imagine Barak. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barakatam. That's a matar. The saw, face sisters. The give one to sisters.
Beneficial, I imagine Shabbat. I imagine Rock. Your house, this business.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please go to ISUPK.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do. They're one West. They're one West. They're one West.